Alright, hello ladies and gentlemen. Brandon B here, EEVEE founder. Just want to do a quick breakdown of what's going on in PulseChain land, some of the appearances I've been going on, and just kind of the greater market as a whole. So, very nice to see that we seem to be just about 6% up on the day. Nice to see. The whole of PulseChain has been really kind of taking a nosedive, so no one's kind of been immune to the correction we're seeing. Although kind of Pika, which is the spear, kind of the most most valuable pokey ticker, does seem to be hopefully getting pretty close to finding some support here. So whether we see a bounce or not in the short term, we don't know, but it's nice to see we're getting close to some support levels hopefully soon starting to kick in. Now, I think what is kind of relevant to touch on here, folks, is what's going on with Bitcoin here. So we've seen something pretty concerning here with Bitcoin, at least in the short term here, where we had kind of this macro price structure looking up. Clear support level, guys. Some people draw like magic lines by the candle closing, candle opening, by the wicks. Some people mix it up. It's all magic lines. It's all subjective at the end of the day. But the point is to kind of just draw some lines that the market seems to be reacting off of, and I think this line is roughly about right here. So we had this clear breakdown, come back up to test previous support, now solidifying it as resistance. An attempt to go down. Bulls stepped in, nice to see. And so hopefully we can spend some time closing here. If we start to see some daily candles closing above 100K, about this area of resistance here, that would be kind of very nice to see for the short term. Now, something else I want to mention here. So I want to kind of talk about what's going on here with the PulseChain price structure, because we've all been waiting for many years to see this chain take off, and we've been live out for what, 1.6 years, 1.8 years, roughly about that, just under 2 years, and throughout our entire existence, we've basically been in this. Not basically, we have been in a massive downtrend, essentially, forming new macro lower highs and arguably new macro lower lows. So we've been in a massive downtrend for years, and the question we're all asking ourselves is, when can that come to an end? Well, I don't know. You don't know. Only the gods know. Only the crypto gods know. But what we can see is that we can draw some magic lines here. And when we do draw magic lines, we see that we're in this macro descending triangle with really only about 3 months, 4 months at most before we reach the apex of this, before we break out and form a new price structure. Now, while there may be 3 or 4 months here, I mean, by the time we start getting real close to hitting our apex here, I think we're likely to see a breakout between 2 and 4 months. So, I mean, that could look like this, where we form kind of a rounded bottom like before, come out, hit resistance, come back down, break out, retest resistance, hopefully sort of solidified as support, something like this. Hopefully that's something we could see. Now, another hopeful thing that I think we're starting to hopefully see for the short term is a bit of rounding structure. Like, we're looking at 3-day now, but if we go down to the daily here, we're starting to see the first signs of forming a bit of a rounded bottom. Like, if we zoom back out again, folks, and look at the last time we had a major crash here, we formed kind of that rounded bottom, rounding out of the price structure, and then we start to go back up again. So I think we're starting to see that in the short term a little bit here with PulseChain. But look, folks, ultimately we need Bitcoin breaking above higher, whether that's short term or long term. I think we most of us agree that this is very likely not the cycle top. Again, if we see Ethereum much higher, that's likely to benefit us as well. Also, in terms of the timing of this structure here, folks, like, we have the Trump administration much more pro-crypto coming into office in like a month, not even. So they're very likely, not very likely, Gary Gensler is out of there, right? We have that famous video of Trump saying, I'm going to fire Gary Gensler, likely to be replaced with someone much more pro-crypto. So when that happens, and we can imagine it's entirely possible the SEC might have their budget cut, different philosophy, much more pro-crypto administration, that they might review their cases, they might drop the case, they might settle their case with Richard Hart. So things can change very quickly. While things are very shitty, and they've essentially been completely nothing but shitty in PulseChain land, given the downtrend throughout our entire existence. That's objectively not good, but things can change quickly, folks. We got the new administration coming in quickly that will bring in a changing tide, changing philosophy when it comes to crypto, much more pro-crypto. That lines up pretty closely with when we're gonna likely break out of this price structure. So point being, if we have a very big positive catalyst regulatory-wise coming in a short few months, that lines up pretty closely with this breakout in price structure. So if we have a positive catalyst paired with that price structure, who knows, right? This is all speculation. This is all magic lines, but point being, things can change very quickly. Cycle-wise, lots of people like to debate the existence and the importance of the cyclical nature of crypto. In my opinion, it's very obvious and very important to understand the macro cyclical nature of crypto. And historically speaking, we've moved on this Bitcoin timeline, 4-year macro pump and dump. So I'm not signed in on this account, but point being here, folks, every 4 years, we have a halving, price goes up, price goes down, halving, price goes up. So, like timing wise, it's this year, it's 2025, where things, if they were going to move similar to the way they have historically, then it's this year. We've gone from the conversation being talking about potentially waiting years to now the conversation is talking about potentially waiting months. Like the wait forever part, I think, is over. So none of that's financial advice. I don't know. That's all speculation. But if how we moved in the past has any relevance or any bearing on how we're going to move in the future, again, it's not that much longer, folks. Here, like the wait forever part might be over. So I also want to bring up that I did have the pleasure of going and talking to some of the Pulse Mafia guys, KVLT DeFi over here. So these guys, I think, are really taking the lead on building out the GameFi space in PulseChain in a way that no one else is doing. And so, again, I had the pleasure of going on his YouTube channel and learning more about it. So I wanted to bring this up for a couple of reasons. I think what these guys are doing is really interesting. They're building out kind of a gaming metaverse where it's play to earn. We saw last cycle, like Axie Infinity. We saw in Asia, it was huge. Tons of people. There's whole channels, whole streamers, lots and lots of people full-time dedicated to just playing these crypto games and earning. And we haven't seen that take off in PulseChain at all, but these guys are taking the lead, and I think I did share a thought or two that's kind of relevant to some of what we've been talking about. So why don't I just play a moment or two of what we discussed.
But PulseChain really has not seen a bull market yet. And we look at some of these other things that are doing well, Solana, whatever it is. But the problem with those things is that they've already done well. They're not cheap. PulseChain is cheap. PulseChain is dirt cheap. I was just looking at this just before hopping on stream. There's meme coins that are like 10, 15 times more valuable than PulseChain, than our whole ecosystem combined. If you combine Pulse, Hex, Inc., PulseX, I don't know what eHex is worth nowadays, but there's meme coins that combined all together are 10 times more valuable. Like, guys, we are extremely suppressed. And in other words, what that means is that there's potential, there's opportunity here, because all it takes is a little bit of traction, a little bit of goodwill, a little bit of positive sentiment, and we can move quite a bit. And again, just to speak to that fact that we've always swang from macro depressive extremes to macro euphoric extremes, and all we've seen, really, arguably, so far is macro depressive, because it's been just a massive downtrend. But what comes next? That's not guaranteed, but we're all betting on the what comes next part. And all we've seen is, the depressive part. We haven't seen the euphoric part, which in one sense sucks, but in the other sense, it's opportunity. It's opportunity. So I am extremely optimistic. Things on PulseChain are dirt cheap. They have, there's a lot of great people doing really, really great things, and they're so primed for, as soon as there's a little bit of traction, a little bit of positive sentiment, to start getting that use, and things can really, really take off. Like, we haven't seen anything yet. Like,
so, folks, that was me on Mr. KVLT DeFi's stream, and to just briefly mention what they're all about. Again, they're They're building out this GameFi metaverse play to earn. They have right now 7 billion Pulse in their vault. The way they fund their vault, and that gets paid out to the top players in this game every week. And so with their Mafia token, there's buy and sell tax. That tax goes to funding this vault, and then every week 10% of the vault gets paid out to the top players. So this is not at all insignificant, folks. And imagine, I mean, Pulse does a 10x. That means they're going to have, as of now, say a $3.5 million vault. That means they're going to be paying out $350,000 worth of rewards every single week. Now, that's distributed among, the top players and such, but that is not an insignificant amount of money to be earning every single week. And that's presuming today's volume. As things continue to get traction and pick up, with the Mafia token, if they are to be successful, they're going to get more volume and therefore larger vault size. So super interesting to see what's going on with them. You can earn an in-game currency that's redeemable to Mafia by playing their game. So I'm actually super jazzed about this thing because we haven't seen anyone do GameFi like they have. So I'll leave a link for KVLT's channel and the interview down in the description below so you guys can check it out if you want. But it is very cool what they're doing, so I just want to give them a bit of a shout out as well. Taking a look at friend of the ecosystem, Peanut Brain here, quite a bit of a discount. But we're starting to notice what should hopefully become a very familiar pattern in PulseChain land, which is a bit of a rounded bottom. That rounding out of price structure, can signal getting close to lows. Obviously, that's not financial advice. That could change completely based on the whims of the market, but that is very good to see. Peanut Brain does now have a buy and burn with the Hive token. 1%, I believe, of all the transactions go to buying and burning Peanut Brain. So, ladies and gentlemen, I know right now things are suppressed in PulseChain land, but again, if we were going to participate in the growth of this cycle, just to kind of wrap up on my thoughts with this video is, we're at the point where the conversation has moved from talking about potentially waiting years to now potentially about waiting months. Obviously, none of that's financial advice. It's all wildly speculative. I don't know that for sure, but if the past could have any relevance on what the future looks like, that is the same thing. But I did want to say that there are big things playing down the road for Pulse EEVEE. And we did make a donation address if any of you guys want to donate. I'll leave that down in the description below. Obviously, you don't have to. I prefer, you guys accumulate whatever you want. But if you do want to donate, we do have things that are not inexpensive planned for EEVEE. So any help does go a long way. I'll leave that there. Folks, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Take care.